Candy is one of the best gifts ever given to the world. I don't think there's a person on earth that could honestly say that they don't like the taste of candy. This is the problem with candy though. It tastes so good that many people just can't get enough of it, leading to health problems in their future. For a professional athlete, the importance of a healthy body is obvious. And for the greatest athletes in the world, eating fancy healthy foods is usually an element of their success. However, for Lamar Odom, he believed pretty much the opposite. And this candy fanatic upset doctors and health enthusiasts because of his love for candy that helped the Los Angeles Lakers win 2 NBA titles. Lamar Odom was a 6'10" forward that was drafted to the LA Clippers in 1999. After being a consistent starter on the Clippers for 4 years, and the Miami Heat for a year, he was then part of a league-altering trade in 2004 that sent Shaquille O'Neal to the Miami Heat and Lamar Odom to the Lakers. The Lakers also lost Karl Malone and Gary Payton that offseason, and their impressive stretch of making the NBA Finals in 4 of the 5 previous seasons and actually winning the title 3 times was in serious jeopardy. The Lakers would have to start over again to build a championship contending team, and the 25-year-old Lamar Odom was going to be a solid piece for the team for years to come. Skipping over the next 4 seasons where Odom averaged 15 points and 10 rebounds a game, the Lakers were getting better and better. They actually made the 2008 NBA Finals against the Celtics, where they ended up losing in 6 games. So entering the 2008-2009 NBA season, expectations were high for the team, with their preseason championship odds tied for the best in the league with the Boston Celtics. They had a dominant season, winning 65 games and only losing 17, and they marched their way to the Western Conference Finals, where they faced off against the Denver Nuggets. In the first few games of the series, Lamar Odom was getting below average stats to his standards, and going into Game 5 of the series, the Lakers and Nuggets were tied at 2 games apiece. During that series, Kobe had a couple 40-point games and was doing all he could, but the Lakers needed some help from other players to win, and that's where Lamar Odom's candy addiction came in handy. Odom was coming off the bench but getting more minutes than some of the starting players, and he had a great Game 5, getting 19 points and 14 rebounds. Then in Game 6, he had 20 points and 8 rebounds, which helped the Lakers win their final 2 games and make the NBA Finals. After the series was finished, Odom credited his good play to all the candy he ate, saying, "It's funny because the games I played well were the games where I ate candy for breakfast. It's the reason why I got double digits in points and rebounds. I guess I'm going to have to eat candy for breakfast in order to play well." Odom admitted that the candy he ate before those 2 games specifically was, quote, "a whole plate of jelly bean starbursts." After the news broke about Lamar Odom's candy addiction, a doctor named Daniel Amen thought he'd give his professional opinion about Lamar Odom's candy eating. He warned that it's bad news for the Lakers that Odom is eating all the candy he did. And he also kind of took a shot at Odom's playing in the process, saying eating too much sugar impairs cognitive function, which may explain why Odom doesn't always make the smartest decisions on the court. In response to the doctor, Lamar Odom stated, "I guess he's wrong, even though he's a doctor." Odom was trusting how his body felt, not a doctor's opinion on the matter. Odom reasoned, "If I told anyone the first 4 games I didn't eat candy, the last 2 I did, what would you tell me to do? Keep eating candy." Sports is interesting because many players have superstitions or beliefs about the game they play, even though it might not make logical sense. And Odom is an example of this. And I kind of back his point, because maybe eating tons of candy actually does help Odom play better for some reason. And if eating candy before games makes him a better basketball player, leading to his team winning more games and him getting bigger contracts, then how can you blame him for those decisions? When asked about the idea, Kobe Bryant said, "Whatever works." And I honestly wouldn't expect a different answer from a guy who wants to win that badly. Because even if science may be against Odom's pregame snacks, it was helping his team win. The Lakers coach Phil Jackson then started to get asked about Odom's eating habits, saying that he got tons of emails and texts from doctors telling him that sugar can be a serious problem. But maybe people were getting a bit too crazy about this story, as his teammate Andrew Bynum said, "It's not like he's eating peach rings for dinner and things like that. It's been blown kind of way out of proportion." And Odom agreed with his statement, saying, "People make it look like I sit there and eat a whole plate of candy before I play a basketball game. I don't think anyone could do that." The strange part about this statement, though, was the fact that he literally said earlier that he ate, quote, "a whole plate of jelly bean Starbursts" before games 5 and 6 of the Western Conference Finals. But either way, I guess maybe he has a point. We don't really know how much candy that Odom regularly consumes before games. Maybe the Western Conference Finals was an outlier for his candy consumption. Or maybe his plates of candy aren't that big. And considering Lamar Odom is a big guy standing at 6'10", I'm sure he could handle a little more candy than the average person. Overall, as probably expected, the Lakers team didn't really mind Odom's candy eating habits, and they actually seemed to like it, as Kobe apparently appreciated that Odom would bring a bag of candy to share on the team bus, and since everyone found out about his candy addiction, he had to stay ready at all times with candy. The Lakers ultimately won the 2009 NBA championship, and then they even won the 2010 NBA championship the year after, with Lamar Odom part of their team. So maybe at the end of the day, a little candy won't get in the way of achieving greatness. Do you think Odom's strategy of eating candy was a good idea? Would you ever eat a plate of candy before a basketball game? Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section, and remember to drop a like and subscribe to the channel to show your support. Thanks for watching.